From victory to violence, the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl celebration turned into panic and chaos. 3 suspects are in custody after shots were fired into a crowd.
And it all happened just as the Chiefs were leaving the stage in downtown Kansas City. A mother of 2 was killed in the shooting, and at least 21 people were injured. And joining us now for more on the shooting investigation is ABC's Alex Perez in Kansas City, and our very own Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas from Washington, D.C. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. Alex, we'll start with you. It was supposed to be a day of fun and celebration, then gunshots. What are you hearing from survivors and victims?
Well, DeMarco, it was joy and celebration, and it changed in literally an instant when those gunshots erupted here. What I'm hearing from people on the ground who were here when all this happened, 2 things. Number 1, shock. They were here to have a good time. They were here to mark a moment in sports history for their city and for their team, and suddenly they were all running for their lives. And then number 2, the other thing I'm hearing is, oh no, here we go again. Another shooting, yet another shooting here in America. Those are the 2 things that really seem to be staying with people here, DeMarco.
Pierre, the planning for big events these days usually factors in the risk for gun violence, and yet this still happens. So I think a lot of people today are asking the question, can we feel safe going to events where there are big crowds?
Well, unfortunately, mass shootings are now a phenomenon, if you will, that this country now sees playing out time and time again. Think about this. You've now seen mass shootings at churches, houses of worship, schools, elementary schools, supermarkets, Walmart, everywhere. And I think what this particular case will show is that even in mass events like the celebration after a Super Bowl, law enforcement may have to think about things like having magnetometers to check the crowd as they flow into an event like this, like the Super Bowl. High security, you're going to have all those levels of security. Now people may have to think about when you have a mass celebration, do you have to employ the same kind of tactics?
It's a lot of people there up here. Let's go back to Alex if we can. What do we know about the 3 people that were detained, and how were police able to find them in this massive crowd?
Well, DeMarco, you have to remember, this was a massive crowd, upwards of 1 million people or around 1 million people. So the city had been preparing for this for a long time. There were a lot of police officers here. They were working with 24 different law enforcement agencies, about 800 officers just around the perimeter of the rally itself. So the moment this happened, officers were able to flood that area immediately. And with help from bystanders, they were able to sort of figure out who the culprits were in this case. And of course, we had some brave bystanders here, a pair that actually jumped on one of these persons of interest and held that person down until officers arrived, DeMarco. Authorities were expressing their gratitude to those brave bystanders. Besides that, right now, we're still waiting to learn more about who these persons of interest are and why exactly they may have carried this out here in this crowd.
A lot of questions.
Pierre, this is the 48th mass shooting of the year. I mean, nothing seems to change. And I know you have done so much reporting, extensive reporting about gun violence in this country. What do you think it will take to move the needle on this debate?
That's an incredibly important question. One would have thought that after we saw children killed at an elementary school years ago and that it's happened again, that would move the needle in terms of the conversation about what best to do about this. But I will say this, there's something about the Super Bowl. It is the one unifying event of the year, the communal event where hundreds million plus people are watching something. And the notion that the people of Kansas City could not come together and celebrate, will the NFL get more involved in anti-gun violence? I think this is something because it strikes at who we are and something that's so incredibly a part of the American culture, enjoying ourselves, if you will. The fact that gun violence seeped into that, perhaps that will spark renewed conversations about solutions.
Pierre Thomas, Alex Perez, thank you both so much for being with us today.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.